Hello and good afternoon to all of you degenerates in this shadow realm that we call the internet. We are NoSkill Entertainment. And today, we have a special, kind of a fun topic for everybody. Something that we've spoken about briefly on past episodes, and that is conventions. Convention season is up and running, and all of us here are so excited to get back into getting into our cosplays, going to the dance parties, going to dealers' rooms. And today, we actually brought on a special guest. One of Mikey's good friends, CHAPPA. Say hi to the folks.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Good to be back.
And then, as per usual, we have the usual suspects that I do this podcasting thing with. Mikey down at the end.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here today.
And of course, the Wolf Lizard King himself, Brandon.
What's going on, everybody?
And then I am your house bunny girl, DJ. How is everybody doing? Everybody good?
Pretty good.
Pretty good, yeah.
If I was any happier, I'd explode.
Oh yeah, trust me, this is why we have the whole, again, I said this in the last episode, what you don't see before that record button is hit, Mikey has been having the time of his life just trying to connect to his internet and join us in VR. Aren't you having such a great day, Mikey?
So
Like,
I figured
fantastic.
out if I wrap the cable in aluminum foil, switch straight Ethernet, and then sacrifice the chicken, I got it to work actually. We're pretty good, but only on my PC.
I think it was the chicken that did it. It was probably the chicken that did it.
I had a good feeling with the foil. I felt the theta rays bound.
The foil?
Now, was this?
I don't know.
Does this mean you had to destroy your tin foil hat and use it to wrap up the Ethernet cord?
No, I almost said something incriminating. Don't ask.
You gotta
Really,
protect
Mikey's just like
yourself from the 5G, bro.
Exactly.
just like I plead the fifth. Don't look at me.
We can't burn our towers like the UK did, so we have to protect from 5G somehow.
Yeah, I love that 5G. I finally have a 5G phone. My phone's never been faster. I was still on 3G before this. Yeah, that's how far behind I was.
Jesus
Fun of me to
Christ.
get at me.
Nokia?
Yeah.
You're that little
Go
flip
Boost
phone,
Mobile.
bro? Boost Mobile?
Actually, funny enough, before I had this smartphone, I still had the fucking Razor flip phone.
Oh my god.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus.
2022.
You should have just upgraded to the Razer flip phone that they have.
Dude, you gotta remember, I come from a household, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And so I was like, this thing still works, why the hell not? And then I finally got a smartphone, and I feel normal. I feel like everybody now. But with bunny ears. Anyway, so.
But with bunny.
Fuck's sake.
Surprisingly related to what we're about to talk about.
For those that have stuck
A
around
little
us
on the
this long,
nose.
you know this is how I am all the time. But anyways, back to the main meat and potatoes as to why we're doing this today is conventions. More specifically, anime conventions. I know some of you sex freaks be going to them sexual ones. Sinners. Anyway, but anime conventions, besides Brandon, me, CHAPPA, Mikey, between the three of us, we've probably been to more conventions than what's recommended by the FCC. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, pretty much. Been to too
Yeah,
damn
we're not
many.
touching-
Doesn't stop me from going, though.
Oh, absolutely
We're
not.
touching,
Like, I'm actually kind of
cringe, but we're up there.
like I'm actually upset that I could not go to Anime Expo, but I was just happy they were streaming it, like certain panels on Twitch, and I'm like, you know what? This is the best that I got. I'll take it. Same.
Shit, yeah, I was
looks
upset
like
too.
it was so fun this year. Like,
Some of the
because I
Matsuri
heard you
guys
talking
went.
earlier before we. What?
Some of the Matsuri guys went, and they had some fun stories to tell about AX.
Well, because what is it like? AX is one of the biggest conventions in the U.S., isn't it? Next to
Yeah,
PAX.
it's like next to like that and Comic-Con.
Yeah, I think
True,
AX
Comic-Con.
is running up in the global status now, because it's like 180,000 people over 4 days, which is insane when you think about it.
Right.
Yeah. And that was with certain people not being able to get in. Content creators not being able to get in. Like, who was the two VTubers that you told me about that couldn't get in even though they were press? Who was it? Was it Numi?
Numi was one of them, and Bao was one of them. On the first day, they showed up and they're like, "Hey, we're here for our press badges." They're like, "Oh, well, come back another day. We don't have them ready." And the fire marshal said no.
Okay.
Yeah, that it's like, but I'm being paid to work here. What do you mean, come back?
I still get paid for the day, right? Like,
exactly. That would be my concern.
Get the fuck out of here.
Because I put in the effort. I made it here. Y'all are the ones telling me to go away. So I get to keep that, right?
Oh, dude, I would take that paycheck and go
I
to
showed up to work
Studio.
and you said there was no work, so I still get paid, though, you know?
Yeah,
But again,
Right.
that's crazy when it comes to conventions of like so many people, like Mikey just said, like 100,000 people, to where the fire marshal had to get called because it was like this is now a safety issue of how many people showed up. Because again, people haven't had Anime Expo for the last 3 years, haven't had any conventions at all for like 3 years. So now that convention season is up and running and in full swing, everybody's taking advantage of it while they can. I already got a couple of conventions that I'm going to over the course of the next couple months here where I live on the East Coast. Like I'm going to this one here in Connecticut, just straight up called Kineticon. And then I'm going to Anime Boston, which is the biggest one in New England.
Right. I know about Anime Boston. Anime Boston looks sick.
Anime Boston was my very first convention. I can honestly say for the first day, I was absolutely terrified. Because my buddy, when he first told me about wanting to go to this convention, we got a big group of us, and he told me about cosplay. Well, I don't know what the fuck that word is. What's cosplay? Oh, well, you just put on a costume. Okay, well, then say costume. Apparently, I insulted him because I said costume, not cosplay.
Yeah, you fucking normie.
You fucking norm.
I didn't know yet.
Then you shouldn't have said it with such conviction, like you were correcting somebody who was telling you about something. Yeah, I'm gonna be on that side because as a casual cosplayer, I hear that all the time. They're like, "Oh, you guys have weird words." I'm like, the same reason you're not invited. Go away.
Dude, I blame the concussions. But so that's when he explains to me what cosplay is when it comes to conventions and how you're actually modeling yourself off after a character in insert anime here. So we go to this convention. Guess who's not wearing a cosplay? Guess who showed up in a costume? This guy. Now, CHAPPA, to give you some context when it comes to little old Deej. So I'm 6'5", 270 pounds. Right?
Okay.
I am a big lad.
Yep.
So I didn't show up in a cosplay. I showed up in a costume. Said costume was Lieutenant Jim Dangle from Reno 911.
If anyone has seen our thumbnails on our channel that may or may not have a dude in a khakis police uniform, that'd be him. That's him.
Loud and proud, baby. Let's go. But so everybody else was actually in actual genuine cosplay, especially around the time there was a lot of what's her name? Mika-san's from Attack on Titan, because this is when season 1 had just hit.
Okay.
A lot of Deadpools, because well, for some reason now Deadpool is everybody's favorite anti-hero ever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then a bunch of, and this is when I was still, I guess you could say, fairly new to anime outside of your normal Pokemon, Dragon Ball Z, and all. Oh yeah, and Beyblade, a lot of that word's Beyblade.
Mm-hmm.
But Anime Boston, like I said earlier, is the biggest convention in New England, and we went to this mall/convention center, which was all just the same building called the Prudential Center, and we go into the convention hall, and there's just rows of people lining up to go get their badges, and I'm like, this place is massive. My buddy goes, this isn't even the convention hall. We're just getting our badges here. The convention hall is through those doors right there. Like you could hear the angels singing behind it. There was heaven behind that door.
Were they singing Caramel Dancing?
Look at go.
I love that song. That's my favorite song. Don't judge me, or do. I don't care. But so we get our badges. We go through these doors, and this is one of the most vivid memories I'm ever going to have. You will always remember your first convention. The first thing that I see when I open the doors is just a slew of people all lining up to get into the dealer's room. And I didn't know what the dealer's room was. And my buddy goes, oh yeah, that's where like certain people are selling like custom things. Like you can go in there and get custom artwork, whether it be, you know, just this anime piece of from Bleach, something NSFW that I won't say that I might or might not have bought. Statues, figurines. There's even an actual Fletcher that can actually make you a pair of good gauntlets or greaves. I didn't buy those because they didn't fit the whole cop outfit, but I did get cat ears and a tiger tail that I still own to this day.
Hell yeah.
So cringe.
I heard that.
I didn't whisper.
I heard that. Shut your mouth. But now, before I carry on for this entire hour of convention speak, CHAPPA, I would really love to hear from you. What was your first convention, and what was your thoughts on it?
So like I knew about conventions for like years, right? Because one of my good friends, Elias, he was always going to SAC Anime, which is like the local one here. It's not the biggest one. We have three big cons in California. So there's SAC Anime. And for NorCal, there's SAC Anime and Fanime. Fanime is the bigger one by far. And then you go SoCal, it's ALA and then AX. So my buddy always told me about it, and every time I go to his room or like go hang out with him, he always had like a bunch of fucking swords. We'd always have all the bleach blades. And I'm like, dude, where the fuck do you get these, right? Like, where are you getting all these swords from? And he's like, oh, I go to this convention, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you know what? Like, I was kind of, in high school, I was kind of like the guy that was trying to be cool, but still a nerd, but I didn't want people to know I was a nerd. So I was just like, weird, like that weird, like medium.
Like nobody can know the secret.
Yeah, like nobody could, because like back in high school, like everybody thought like anime, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic the Gathering, all that stuff wasn't cool. It was just like, you're a nerd, screw you, grow up already kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And so when I graduated, and I got into college, that's when like everything kind of changed for me, because it was like, oh, you know, like there's these older guys that are like into Final Fantasy, into like all these games and nerdy shit, and I'm just like, this is awesome. Like there's no judgment here. I could be myself. So I hit up one of my friends. Her name's Demetria. Mikey knows her.
Yep.
And I basically asked her if they had a room for SAC Anime, because I wanted to go. I wanted to go to my first con. I was like, I want to go to SAC. I want to see what it's all about. Everybody else is going. I should have hit up Elias though, because that would have been easier. Because
no comment.
So my friend Demetria is, so she's an Artist Alley person, and she's been doing Artist Alley for a while, and the room I was with just wasn't fun. Like it was a lot of BS. Like the first thing I did when I got there, like, hey, we need the money for the room, and I'm like, okay, let me just go run to the bank real quick. Like, is there a bank? Like, I have my card. Let me go see if I can go pull money out. But it was like really adamant about it, and I'm like, okay, I'll go get the money right now. And it was like the first night, right? So I literally had to walk like 3 blocks away from our hotel to go get money for the room. So I went out, gave them the money, came back, and they were just kind of like, I don't know, like everybody just seemed like a little tense. Like you have people like working on their cosplays last minute, like doing the hair stuff, doing like putting all the like the costumes together, people trying to sleep, and nobody was really like drinking. And me, I was like, well, I thought people wanted to drink, and they're like, oh, we drink on the second night or whatever. And I'm like, oh okay. So I was like, well, screw it. I'm in Sacramento. I'm in Sacramento. I've never been to like actually like experience Sacramento as an adult, right? Because I went when I was like 21. And so I'm like, I'm gonna go to the bar. So I like looked up local bars, and I found Coin Op, which is like an arcade bar. Went there.
Oh.
Yeah, there, ended up like just having a couple beers with this chick whose name was like Rain. Walked around with her for a little bit. Went back to my hotel, slept. First day of con, I mean, there wasn't as big of a line to get in, but like I was like, well, where do I go? I was asking my friend. They're like, oh, well, you can't come with us because we're Artist Alley. We have to be there early. And I'm like, oh, okay. They're like, just go do this. So it was just like you're on your own, buddy. Figure it out. And I was like, okay. So
They threw you to the wolves.
Yeah, like basically like because I didn't know any of these people except my one friend, right? Like there was like a bunch of girls. Some of them were like trans and like some of them were like lesbian. So it was just a weird environment for me because I'm like, I love the LGBT community, but I was just like, I've never been around a lot of them at the same time. And so I was like, I don't know what to
Sorry.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't know what to expect. So, and especially for my first con. But I figured it out, and I did actually cosplay my first con. I did like a gender bent of a skin for a character that came out just like during that time, which was a pool party misfortune skin from League of Legends. So I did a gender bent version of that
skin.
Fucking
yeah.
CHAPPA.
So, hey, bro, I was walking around with like basically like a cutoff, like sleeveless shirt that buttoned up, like it was like a beach shirt with a hood, a freaking sun hat, 2 super soakers, and like a pair of like boy shorts and just sandals. That's what I was walking around in. And I was like, and people had no idea who the fuck I was, and I was just like, whatever, dude. You know, I was like, it was cool, but I was having fun with it. Like, I was enjoying it. Like, I went to the vendor hall. And also, I didn't know there was, like, a such thing as panels. Like, I never went to a panel at all. During my first con, I spent, like, 90% of my time in the vendor hall. Just looking at shit. And I was just like, ooh, figures. Right. Ooh, this, right?
But you can get lost in vendor halls.
Yeah, I got completely lost. So I was just like, whatever. And then, luckily... Elias and Tristan, my friends, they were there, and we were all just hanging out in the magic room playing Magic. So that's what I was doing. I was just playing card games the whole time. And then once the con was over, I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go to the fucking bar. Like, fuck this shit. And I even asked the guys, I'm like, hey, do you guys want to come to the bar? They're like, no, we're gonna go back to the room and drink, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh, cool. Like, where's my invite, you assholes? Like... like, you guys are just gonna leave me? And then, so I was like, screw you guys then. So I ended up going back to Coin Op. And I was drinking by myself. I ended up buying, like, I used to smoke at the time. So I was like, I'm gonna buy a pack of cigarettes. And luckily, those pack of cigarettes was, like, how I got to meet some really cool people. So these 2 chicks ended up asking me for cigarettes. And I was like, yeah, sure. And then we ended up talking. And they're like, well, are you just here by yourself? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I'm here for the convention. They're like, oh yeah, we could tell that. And then I was like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. My friends just don't want to come drink. And some other, like the rest of them are all doing their own thing. So I'm just kind of here by myself. They're like, well, why don't you hang out with us tonight? And I'm like, okay, what's the plan? They're like, well, we're going to go to this bar and this bar. And I'm like, well, shit. And the funny thing is like, so the whole time I'm in cosplay, right? I'm at this bar in cosplay. And I ended up having, like, I was outside and I was going back into the bar area. Because there's like an outside area, and so I walked back in. The security was like, hey, you can't wear that here. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, you can't wear that here. And I'm like, but I've been here for the past 3 hours. Like, what the fuck?
You're just now noticing me?
Yeah, like, you're just now noticing that I'm wearing like a cutoff shirt with like whatever. So I ended up going back to the hotel room, and the whole time I'm thinking, I'm like, dude, these girls are gonna, because these girls were cute. So I was like, God, these girls are gonna fucking leave. I'm like, these girls are gonna leave. I'm gonna go change my hotel. Like, why don't you guys walk with me? It's right here. They're like, yeah, sure. So they end up walking. I go up, put on like luckily I brought like a little dress shirt, right? Because I was gonna cosplay as a butler. Easy clap. And the whole time I'm like up there, and like I walk into like the room. The girls are like in there doing their thing. And I'm just like, they're like, oh, like, what are you doing tonight? And I'm like, oh, I'm going to go to the bar. They're like, you guys want to come? They're like, no, we got to be up early for this and this. And I'm like, all right. So I like got undressed in front of them because I was like, fuck you guys. You guys are all on the different things. So you don't even care. So I just changed real quick. Went back downstairs. The girls are still there. And I got fucking obliterated. Like they took me downtown. We got like hella shots. We ended up meeting this couple that was there on a date at CoinOp earlier, like that we were talking to. They were like walking back to like they were just walking. They were like, "Well, we're gonna go to this bar." They're like, "Oh yeah, let's go with you guys." So we ended up all just going to this freaking bar. We just bar hopped in downtown Sac, and then ended up at like the pizza place right there. Ate pizza at the middle of the night, and then I went back to my hotel room, crashed out. Woke up with like a mild hangover, but I was still chill. But yeah, it was a fun experience. I ended up buying like I had more, like I tell people, like I had more fun by myself at that con than I did with the people I went, and I think that's what made it memorable, because it's like the first time I actually was just like, well, let's see what happens.
Like it's one of those, at least with me personally, when it comes to cons, I would rather go with a group, but same thing, my same mentality when it comes to concerts. I'd rather go with a group, but I will go by myself if that's the case. And from what it sounds like, it just sounds like the people that you were originally wanting to go with were like, you know, you're too new, you can't hang out with us because we're about to go. Dude, like one of the key things, and Mikey can agree with this, one of the best parts about going to conventions, hence why they wait until Saturday, are the hotel room parties. That's when you turn. That's when you turn up. My first con, my buddy even told me in advance that we were going to throw a hotel room party, and I was still kind of nervous because throughout the day I've been getting a lot of random looks because a bunch of like really gatekeeping elitist otakus would come up to me. They would slander me because I wasn't wearing an anime cosplay. So I'm shaming the cosplay community. My buddy comes up, he defends me because, again, a guy my size, and I was in the military at the time. I'm like, dude, I just want to slug you and get it over with. That's it. But I didn't do it. So we go back to the hotel room. I'm fucking heated. Also, my buddy wheels out this big ass, like the thing that he's sitting on. And he flips it open, and there's just oh yeah. We brought enough for the crew and then some to where, like, he flips open the lid, and there's just an assortment of random different beers, fucking handles of alcohol that he busts out red Solo cups and actual shot glasses. And I'm like, dude, it's only me, you, and one of our friends. There's only 3 of us. If we pound down all this alcohol in 3 days, we're going to die. He goes, that's why it's not just for us. He goes out the hotel room door. He starts knocking on random people's doors that are here for the convention because we were part of the convention block. Starts knocking on random people's doors, and he's just like, yo, so do you like want to come party? We got some shit in the room. And then they're just like, toads, let's go. Next thing you know, this one hotel room has 25 heads in it. And one of the guys, he decided to bring in one of his speakers, and he was just blaring some of the weirdest, like, I don't even want to say techno. It was like some of the weirdest electronic music I have ever heard. Like, this kid just basically went ape shit with a Super Mario soundboard. And then he put a bass beat behind it.
All right.
The beat drop. Hustle! Blah, blah.
Oh man, I miss those days.
And so we're all turning up in this fucking hotel room, and at one point, apparently, my room was being a little too loud, and they didn't come up and say anything to us. But we finally leave the hotel. We finally leave the hotel room. We're gonna go to the 18 and up side for the convention, where now they kick out all the minors, and now it's going to be all your NSFW panels and shit. And the one that we were going to go to was they're going to show a random clip from some random adult anime, because I won't say the word because I'm a good boy. They're gonna play like this one little clip of it, and then they're going to bring up random audience members to do their own dubbing of it, if you will.
Oh shit! I went to one of those panels.
How well do you think that went when there's about 25 people lacking in cosplay now because we got sloppy stupid, and then they called the drunk ones up on stage to dub? It did not go well. At one point, one of the guys, he totally lost sight of, okay, this is the scene, and he just started balking like a chicken for about 2 minutes straight. before the host just finally goes, "Okay, there, son, get the fuck out of here, you DJ." But that's the best part is the hotel room. Dude, you're still out there. I'm sorry to throw you to the bus like this, but dude, that was great. Because again, that was the best part is the hotel room party. It's just like you go and turn up. Now, granted, the hotel room party started at like 8 o'clock. The actual 18 and up NSFW portion of the convention didn't start till 10:30. So we're turning up for 2.5 hours, and then we're just like, "Oh yeah, we gotta get back. I gotta put on the dangle shorts." I put the shorts on backwards and inside out. And again, this is my very first time at a convention. I'm like, the next day I wake up, I'm like, I'm doing this every chance I get. All right, before I start babbling on again, we haven't heard from Mikey. Mikey, first convention, what was your thought process? What was going through your mind?
So you guys both sound like you started after 20. Can I make that safe guess? Or like 18 to 19 area?
I was 19.
19?
I was
CHAPPA?
21. I think I was barely going to turn 22.
So I have
hold on. With the story that I just told, I was absolutely legal.
Okay.
Anyways, so I have a friend who I'm still very close to, and he's still super diehard in the scene. And he's one of those kids that just never grew up. He's a child with adult money now, and a lot of it. So at the time, he was like, "Guys, I've been going to cons for like 2-3 years. You should really check it out." And he just did everything in the world to sell us on, like, "Oh yeah, we'll go hang out for a day or two." Well, the plan he gave us, the plan he gave his family didn't line up. What ended up happening was he prepped us and got us ready for a 3-day con under the premise we'd be making trip back. He got the hotel room set up, and his family just dropped us off out there for like 3 days. I was the second oldest in the group at 17, and Frazier was the first con, me and Frazier were both 17. We were the oldest guys there. Everybody else is like 16, 15. It's a hotel in the middle of nowhere. There's literally just a turnoff on the freeway, and there's a hotel, and that's it. There's a rave going on in front of the building where all of the cosplayer girls are all dolled up and dancing in the pools. Our friend's dad almost crashes the car because he couldn't look away for like a minute and a half solid. I'm not even kidding. And the first con was just nuts, man. We were really young. We didn't really know what to expect. And our buddy, who was super cool once we got there, made it about us. It wasn't the panel he was going to do. It was like, "Hey, you guys are new. How do we set... Or this is how you set it up. These are the events that are going on. These are the things you could do." And he made it so sick. But it was such a world different from being like this shut-in Call of Duty kid to being at this massive hotel built around a lake. A huge pool that fits like 100 people in it. This massive hot tub that fits a shit ton. We don't have an exact number. Too many is how many we got in there. And it's all open area, and there's just cosplayers, there's room parties, there's people grilling on balconies. There's peach shows where you can go slide in $5 and 2 ladies would be making out on a bed in full cosplay. It was like the Wild West of the internet, but at an IRL event. And this is the kind of shit we were exposed to. And CHAPPA, you know the colleges that are nearby Sacramento, right?
Yeah.
Everybody who was going to Chico at that time showed up. So there was a lot of college students who were just partying hard. I'm talking fucking coolers with remote control, so they would just send the cooler from room to room, dropping off drinks. People rolling out like what are they called? What are they called? The little like refrigerated bottle things, so you can pour it out like a tap. Like, it was ridiculous. We saw all of that at the age of 17, and we're like, all right, this is the new thing we do every year now, guys. This is our life.
This is our life.
This is how we're gonna live, baby.
And that's how it all started. We because it was the winter and summer con, so we'd have 6-7 months in between to get prepped, recycling, paper route, odd jobs, everything we can do because we had so much fun going to see. Because we were all diehard anime fans, going to meet the guests, going to see the musical performance. Because for anybody who doesn't know, Johnny Young Bosch, one of the Power Rangers, and every anime voice actor, and every anime character you've ever heard of, he's them. It has a rock band, and they're actually really good. I think they just disbanded last year because of pandemic reasons. But
Sadness.
there was so much crazy shit to go and do, and we just got hooked. I am so looking forward to getting back into the con season and creating more of the crazy stories, because I definitely have a few with CHAPPA. I've got a lot with Frazier. Julian's got a few as well. That dude.
Julian's got too freaking many.
That dude's a different breed.
See, that's what we're here for. I want to hear it. I want to hear some of the fun shit that y'all did.
So that's where I started, and now it's different. Now we're adults. Now we are able to go out and party. We're not these 16, 17-year-olds who are like, holy shit, that girl just did a fucking beer bong with at least 240s in that bad boy, and she's going hard. Now we're the stupid adult. Yeah, that was
now we're the ones.
Now we're those people.
We're the ones that are the influencers at this point. We're the inhibitors.
I like to feel like we're better than the ones we met, because those Chico people from the mid 2010s, they were a different breed, man.
Jesus, bro.
It was so much fun, and DJ was right. Back in the day, cons were different. You can go room to room, invite people. We did fucking potluck lunches like that. We did room parties like that. You can have live steel weapon for cosplayers, which always blew my fucking mind. That I'm kind of glad they did away with that one.
See, but that is what blew my mind, though, is the fact that you could just meet random people, and then you can make a friend in 10 seconds, and all it took was, hey, I like your cosplay. And now this person wants to talk to you about cosplay or whatever anime that you guys were sharing an interest in.
Right. It's super simple how quickly you can meet people. I was just remembering too, at the first con, I actually had a flask with me that I just carried around. And so the next morning after that night, I literally was just like, well, here are the dogs. So I just started drinking again. And so I'm in the elevator drinking, just in the elevator drinking out of the flask. And there was a bunch of cosplayers with me, and they're like, I was just like, want some? And we just passed around that flask. I forgot what it was full of, but we all drank it. And then anytime they saw me at the con, they're like, hey, did you re-up? And I'm like, hell yeah, I re-upped, and just pulled it out.
Professional, thank you.
I have to ask, is that where Alec got it from? Because she did that for all of us at the last con we were at.
No. So I didn't even meet Alex until, I want to say, because I think my first con I went to in 2015, 2016 maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And then I didn't meet Alex till 2017.
Okay.
Or maybe 16, around there. And so when Alex first went to cons with us, it was because, well, one, we were just kind of talking as friends. We were just friends, right? That's how it all starts out before we start dating. You're just friends. And so we were just friends, and we all went. So this time around, I went. It was me, Julian. Tristan, and Elias in a room, right? Well, Alex showed up, but she was with her family. And then
that's uncomfortable.
Right, so she was staying at the what's the hotel where they do all the passes and stuff at? The one that's literally right across the street.
Sheraton.
Yeah, so her family was staying at the Sheraton. They had a really nice room. And then we were staying at the Best Western we were staying at the Best Western where we stayed at last time.
Okay.
And prior to that, the year before, I ended up meeting a girl. Her name was Julia. And we ended up hanging out as a group of freaks. We were playing hacky sack of all freaking things. We met playing hacky sack. And so I messaged her and I was like, hey, are you gonna be at the con? And she's like, yeah, I'm here. I'm at this booth, blah, 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 blah. So Alex was with us. She was cosplaying. I was kind of just like, I was cosplaying too. But at this time, me and Alex were kind of already like, you know, doing things. I guess is like the words to say it. Like we were already like hanging out a lot, you know, going on dates and stuff. We were talking. And then we saw Julia, and she was with her friend. And I don't know how it all happened, but basically I told them, I'm like, hey, why don't you guys just come hang out at the room? We'll get drunk. And they're like, sure. So Alex shows up, Julia shows up, her friend Kelsey shows up. So there's 3 girls in the room with us 4 guys, right? And
Bad ratio.
it's a bad ratio, right? So and all 3 of the girls were pretty, right? And then there's me, there's Elias, Julian, and Tristan. So Tristan, if you don't know my friend Tristan, he just doesn't want girls. For whatever reason, he just doesn't want a girlfriend. He's not interested. I think he just likes 2D too much. I don't know what his issue is.
Oh my god.
But
He definitely likes 2D too much. I can verify.
yeah, like Mikey's seen the guy. Like
As a connoisseur of the waifus, a real girl trounces a 2D one. Just saying.
well, so we're just like, obviously the guys are like trying to pick the girls, right? And like,
Of course.
but it was kind of a turn of events because Julia was interested in Alex. And so we're all drunk.
Oh boy.
We're all drunk, and then all of a sudden they start making out, and all of us guys are just like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, fucking party.
We're just like, freaking Julian, Mikey, Julian's like, CHAPPA, I love you. And I'm just like, what the? because lo and behold, like I was the one to like bring the girls there, so he's just like, this is awesome. And then like Julia, for whatever reason, she just changes out of her cosplay and just starts getting in her underwear. And we're like,
Okay.
we're like, all right, this is awesome. So, and then she's still like making out with Alex, and we're just like, where is this going? Like, should we leave the room? Like, what's going on?
Do we get ice?
What's happening? And then like, I'm talking to Julia's friend because at this point I'm like, okay, well, Alex has a girlfriend now. Like, I'm done. Like.
That's a quitter's attitude.
Okay, shut the fuck up. It's not quitter talk. I'm like, how the fuck am I gonna make this work? I'm like, Elias and Julian are gonna be assholes about it because that's just how they are. Tristan's just gonna disappear into the abyss. Yeah, I'm like,
what? No, I was just gonna say, I'm just picturing CHAPPA like watching this, deducing it like a scientist. He's just like, fuck, I got some stiff competition here.
Good technique. I really gotta brush
one
up
up
on
this.
seriously though, I was, because at the time I was like, well, fuck, dude. If I can like, you know, end up with Julia, that'd be awesome. Whatever, right? But then I'm like, well, shit. How the fuck? I'm like, I can make this work. I could turn this around.
When in doubt, do the meat spin.
Right. So then I think the girls ended up we ended up getting drunk and passing out. The girls stayed in the room. The girls stayed on the bed. I think I slept on the floor. Julian and Tristan slept on the bed, and then Elias slept on the floor too, because basically we gave up our bed for the girls to sleep on.
Mm-hmm.
And then
How noble.
the next morning we all get ready and we all head to the con, and this is when we did the Powerpuff Bro cosplay, Mikey.
Yeah, I know. I can't unsee that image. Guys,
So-
let me tell you, this thing was tight fitting. Like, he was ready to go into space. There was no fucking in and out at all.
Oh no.
Like, once you're in this, you're in it.
So and also months prior to this, because we were all talking about going to the con. This is like when the Virgin Killer phase came out.
Oh shit! Don't mind me.
And so, there you go. So we're all seeing the Virgin Killers sweaters like on all these cosplayers and all this stuff, right? And I'm just like, okay, like I forgot Alex bought one, and then we were trying to get Tristan. This is why Tristan went to SAC, because we're like, Tristan, you have to go to SAC. We're gonna do this cosplay, and this is the only way you're gonna go. He's like, all right, you guys do it. So Alex immediately buys all 3 Virgin Killers in red, blue, and green, like the Powerpuff Girls, and basically shows it to Tristan. Tristan's like, God damn it. So me, Tristan, and Elias are dressed up as the Powerpuff Girls in Virgin Killer sweaters. I had a wig on. I had the white tights on to be Blossom. I ended up like figuring it out. Elias is like about, I think at the time he's like 100 and like maybe 210 pounds. So he's a big guy in the blue Virgin Killer wearing a blonde wig, and he actually got like blonde like hairspray to put on his beard to make it look like his beard was blonde too.
This is so cursed, knowing what they look like.
And then Tristan, we put a black wig on Tristan, and also, so context, our friend Tristan he's black, so we put him in the Buttercup one, and we're all wearing tights, we're all wearing the Virgin Killers, we're all wearing wigs. Bro, we actually made Good Morning America or Good Morning Sacramento or whatever. So me, Tristan, I have to find the clip and I'll post it in the chat, but me, Tristan, and Elias are just in the back with them at like Good Day Sacramento or whatever, and we're just there waving in these outfits, and we're just like we're getting like on the way as we're walking to the con, we're getting stopped by people to take pictures. Like people are asking us what is wrong with us. Like they're like, we're just like, hey bro, screw it. And so we did a whole photo shoot in the Sheraton. We did like another photo shoot. We saw like a vendor that was like, if you guys are cosplaying this, I want to see it. So we showed up to the vendor and they're like, we're gonna give you guys 20% off of whatever you guys want. And we're just like, we'll see, because they didn't have anything I really wanted. And then, but also it kind of sucked too, because we partied so hard the night before that we just like all were tired. So we all went back to the room and just slept. And I think this is around the time when Julian was at the con, and that's when he ran into you and Frazier.
Oh man, what? Oh man, what are the statistics on that? The fact that we would all meet and this is what you guys were doing that day. On the other end of the spectrum, me and Julian were lifting Frazier into a tree so he can take pictures.
Oh my god. He's built like a fucking ox. So you guys were just like, okay, this is some bullshit.
It wasn't that bad.
Me?
Me and Julian are pretty strong, and Frazier's no slouch. Once we got him up there, he was able to, gorilla grip pull himself up like Ninja Warrior. It was pretty sick. We got pictures of Riddick like 10 feet up in a tree.
Yeah,
That's
that's
fucking
true.
dope.
Full of gummy bears.
I can hear it.
Yeah, there's my buddy Greg, who's 300 pounds of nothing but dead, soggy weight. And he was cosplaying his D&D character, and he wanted to take pictures of himself in a tree at Anime Boston. And when I say this man was no help, I mean, at one point, he could have just latched himself onto a branch and then pulled himself up. And he was still just like, all right, bro, just a little bit more. Come on, just a little bit higher. I'm almost able to put my foot up. Dude, you're standing on top of my head while I'm on my tippy toes. What more do you want from me?
A thought occurs too when I asked CHAPPA about that. I had no idea any of that was going to come flooding out. I was only asking because the last time I partied with you guys, we went hard. Like, we were rolling in it that night.
Oh, dude.
And I
was
woke
a
up
fun
the
night.
next morning. Oh, that night was insane. I got like 3 hours of sleep, and I'm like, I need to get up at 8 a.m., be at the sign-in for the tournament at 8:30, be ready to win at 9, I get up
Be ready
early,
to
I
win.
shower, I clean up. I'm sweating tequila and whiskey, like hard.
Oh man.
I can feel the hangover about to start, and Alex is just sitting there waiting. She's like, "Oh, here's Knack, and here's your pre-drink for the day." And it was a 22-ounce Jack and Coke that was mostly Jack. And I'm like, "Oh, thank God, you're an angel!" And I just grab it and I leave. I'm like at the tournament, halfway done with the bottle already. I'm like, "All right, Buzz is back. Let's keep going."
Let's keep going.
That
No,
was how
I don't.
started my day.
Real quick,
I think she just got it from me.
Yeah,
I just
that's
want
what
to say
was
this right
asking.
now.
I'm like,
I know we're basically glorifying alcohol use when it comes to conventions. Please don't think that we're a bunch of like raging alcoholics. It's just when it comes to convention time, this is what we do. This is what makes conventions that much more fun. But
Oh, yeah.
we are
The
all
nightlife
legal age
is
to do
real.
so.
Yeah, not only that, it's our vacation time, right? Like it's
Exactly.
like you set time aside to enjoy yourself. Like I mean that when I go to cons, it's like I already know to take a good chunk of money and a good chunk of booze because like
Oh, yeah.
I want to enjoy myself, right? Like I deserve this.
oh, dude, the last one we went to when we got barbecue and the soju towers. I
Bro.
don't treat myself to dinner like that, bro. Because what was it, like 40, 50 bucks a person?
Yeah, it was like $50 it was like $40 a person. I think we chose like the smaller one because we were just like, I don't want to spend like $80 a person for fucking whatever. But that.
By the time we were done drinking, it was like 50 bucks a person, 60 bucks a person.
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't do that. Like I live very cheaply, and the fact that we all sat down, killer food, killer drink, the company, dude, it was perfect. Like that is how people take care of themselves on vacation. We just add on all the nerdy shit during the day as well.
Exactly, and that's what makes it fun.
Self-care on Facebook.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, trust me. I think. Trust me, today's my day of self-care. Gets completely plastered at anime convention. Let's fucking get it every time. But that's some of but yeah, that you guys are correct. Like that's how you would make some of the memories with people that you met. Even though we couldn't do any of that here in Connecticut, I still remember though. Funny enough, you brought up going out in cosplay. So we're at Connecticut. The convention center shut down at 10. They weren't going to have any sort of the NSFW shit on a Friday night. They were going to say that for the degenerate Saturday night. And so we're outside the convention center. So here's the convention center. Here's the hotel. Then there's about I'd say a good 300-foot long brick walkway that's about 50 feet wide. And we're not ready to go to bed yet. Okay, it's only 10 o'clock on a Friday night, and I'm 21 years old. I'm turning up somehow. So my group of friends and I, my buddy, he brought his big ass speakers. He starts playing some random music. I, at this time, had become addicted to the Melbourne Shuffle. So I just start shuffling my happy little ass off in my Jim Dangle shorts that I'm still proud of to this day. Don't judge me. A crowd starts noticing, hey, there's some fucking giant wearing essentially what's maybe an inch longer than a man thong, shuffling on the floor over there. We want to go check this out. So this crowd starts gathering around. I start getting a couple other people that want to start dancing. Some of them were shuffling. Some of them were doing jump style. Some of them were doing that tectonic shit that you've seen those goth kids do under the bridge. We've all seen the video. And we started doing that for like a fucking hour and a half. Finally it calms down and we all got hungry. This group of us, I want to say there's at least 50 of us. We start walking down the road in cosplay and we all just flooded into a Burger King at 11:30 at night. And the people that working behind the counter were just like, my brother in Christ, what just walked in here?
I'm sorry, I wasn't ready for that.
Because there's me leading the pack in essentially booty shorts and then a badge that says Officer Sexy Pants on it. You got my buddy who's cosplaying as his D&D character, and then to the left of him is this man is notorious for most conventions up and down the Eastern Seaboard. He is known as Man Misty. Man Misty is 6 feet 17 inches tall, 375 pounds, and he dresses up as Misty from Pokemon.
Oh fuck!
Oh yeah, imagine seeing
yeah.
that walking into your Burger King at night.
Oh yeah, that walked in at 11:30 at night, followed by about 15 furries. One dude wearing a Lucario bodysuit, 4 Cortanas, and then a bunch of other characters from animes that I didn't know. One Sebastian from Black Butler, and one I forgot the guy's name. The guy that wears the red trench coat and Trigun.
Oh, Vasha Stampede.
Yeah. All that walked into a Burger King at 11:30 at night. How happy do you think they were to see us? They weren't.
I would have been.
They weren't.
I would have been.
I would have been
Yes, let's
excited.
go.
I would have been like, "Yo, can I get a fucking picture, dude?"
Well, because like the first 2 people to walk up were me and Man Misty, and I looked like Man Misty's child. Like when in Borderlands 2, when you put Creek the Psycho next to Brick, that's what it looked like when you had me standing next to Man Misty,
DJ,
wearing
you
weird
were the
costumes.
McWhopper.
Jeez.
And so we're just
I need a
sitting there.
Whopper.
We're sitting there. Man Misty's just like, "Can I get a number 3 with cheese?" And I'm like, "Damn,
Damn.
Okay. that's intimidating." And then what will you have, officer? Sexy pants. Officer sexy pants. I even had the aviators on too. I didn't take them off. Aviators and a fake mustache. I looked like such a fucking tool, but it was great.
I wish this was uncommon, but no, this is just nightlife at cons, right?
This is
Like,
just
this shit
amazing.
Oh fucking!
Like to us, this is normal.
I actually, this is a
Go
good PSA moment. Public service announcement. If you go to cons and you're expecting small children to be in your party past 6 o'clock, leave. Get out. It's not for you anymore.
It's not safe. It's
There's
not
a
safe.
It's
hard
not safe.
deadline at 6. Just get out.
I think that's why I like Anime Expo so much. Because after like 7 or something, they start actively kicking out people who are under 18, and it makes that nightlife so much more fun. Because everybody's down. Right, CHAPPA, you've been like you've seen LA go off the rails. It's like DJ Story, but everywhere, right?
Bro. Like, fuck. Well, I know Julian went to a freaking parking lot party.
I saw
And
that video, dude.
Yeah. So that was my first day. I was sick, which pissed me off too. I got like the summer flu or something at AX, my first AX. I was pissed. So we go first AX. We ended up Tristan knows these guys from this company called Senpai Squad, which is like a car club. And so he got us into the party that they're gonna have. So on, I think it was like Friday night, we go to the Senpai Squad party, get drunk, and then we all go back to our Airbnb. Which, by the way, that Airbnb was crap. It had like AC wasn't working, and it was like 110 with like 8 guys in a room. And Alex,
God.
it was so hot, man. So we all come back. And then I just see Julian, he gets back, he's like, him and Tristan like shower real quick, and I'm like, where are you guys going? They're like, oh, Kim just called us, they're at the con. And I'm like, but isn't the con like done? He's like, nah, bro. And I'm like, oh, okay. So they go back, and and Julian has me on Snapchat, and he sends me a bunch of Snapchats. All I see is Julian with a whole ass watermelon. And he's just drinking vodka out of it. Like someone...
I knew it.
Right?
Yeah.
As soon as he said melon, I was like, $10 says it's a vodka melon. $10 says it.
It was a vodka melon. There's like a whole bunch of people in a parking lot. There's like a dude just chilling there with his speaker. Hella girls. Julian's just like having the time of his life. Tristan's like faded. Like Tristan was drunk. And I'm just like, fuck, I want to go. I'm like, this is bullshit.
Choppa, I gotta ask you because I don't want to toot my own horn. I feel like I've got a bit of a tolerance, right? But when it comes to nightlife and partying and such.
Yeah, you do.
So last time I went to LA, we're doing AX, we're having fun. We go to the rave, we do the 21 and up room, and we kind of left because my friend wasn't super down for them blasting hardcore hentai on 20-foot projectors onto the wall. Made him just a little bit uncomfortable.
Warning,
It was not entry
faint
level
of heart.
stuff. No, it was hardcore, just meat slap, like and I'm like, he was recoiling a little bit. I'm like,
He's like, I'm reeling.
dude, there was so many sound effects. You would think it was raining in that room. It was gross. But so we ended up leaving that.
Shit.
We went home. We partied at their Airbnb, and we needed to get back to our hotel. I was fast traveling by the time the night was over. I would blink, we'd be in the car. I'd blink again, we're at the hotel, which is a 45-minute drive. I'd blink again, we're in the elevator. I'd blink again, and I'm sitting in my room, looking out the window like 20 floors up at the Faku after party. Models in the pool. Once again, hentai being played on a huge projector. It was a mess, man. LA has no chill. That place goes so hard every single day of the con.
Dude, there's literally like, I think the first year I went, they were talking about how there's actually like a page that has like adult like rooms that like they just get all crazy in there.
Wait, at the con or at the hotel? I gotta clarify.
At the hotels.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Like
for sure.
Like there's literally like a page that tells you like a bunch of rooms, and it's just like, hey, they're gonna be doing X, Y, and Z in this room. Go have fun. And it's just like, what the fuck? Like I one of my like my friend like Demetria was telling me that one of the girls in her room went to one of those and ended up with like a bunch of like finger paint all over her. Like on her ass, on her tits, just like, and I'm just like, what the fuck, dude?
All right.
I was like,
dude,
holy shit.
I was like, that happens at the
Jesus.
informal dance party.
Yeah, I was like, that's ridiculous. I was like, fuck. Also, I like the first year I went. I don't know if you were there the year I went, Mikey, but when I went, we actually got like there was a guy outside and he was handing out like flyers to the local strip clubs, and the girls were actually dressing as cosplay. Like they were in cosplay going on the stage, and I'm just like, I want to fucking go to that.
I was there that year.
I'm like, that sounds hella fun. Allie's like a whole different breed. AX is just like, it's the con. Like you if you want to go do something crazy and you're looking for something crazy, you'll probably find it at AX.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Especially
like the fact,
especially with AX
What's
this
up?
year especially during the Bishojo showcase, which congratulations to Case on. Just want to say that one right now. But the fact that there was like, what was it, a Lamborghini and a Bugatti that they wrapped in nothing but degenerate melody rap.
oh, the
Yeah.
what they call it, the Lamborghini, and I think it was a McLaren. I don't remember what the Good Smile one was. Good Smile is so expensive.
Yeah. Although I want some of those pop-ups that they introduced. I want the Veve one so badly. When they make it, that is.
Thirsty, man. Okay.
Yeah, shut up. Mind your business.
We know.
I guess I can't get too mad. When I went to AX with our friends I have gaming friends from Canada, and they're really cool people. I've known them for like 10 plus years. They flew down to AX, bought 1,000 milligrams of, I'll let you guess, ate it, and then spent the whole day in the con on another planet.
Yeah.
Walked out.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, this guy's huge. He's 6'6", 320 pounds, and not fat. He's just massive. His girlfriend is 5'4", 112 pounds.
What the?
And she looks like a little doll walking next to him. They walk out. eyes completely glossed over the big book of Faku, the anthology of all of their material under one arm, NSFW body pillows under the other arm, because he was carrying like 3 of them, and she's decked out in all kinds of Faku gear, stuff you couldn't see in public, but she was just not giving a fuck walking around downtown LA like that. So DJ would not be the most down bad person I've ever seen at a con by a long shot.
Oh, bro, dude.
I mean-
when it comes to down bad, I remember the first time I went to an artist alley. There was quite literally just there was this panel. There was this dealer that was quite literally just giving out hentai art. That was it. And one of my buds that I went with, he was just staring at everything, not buying shit. And I'm pretty sure he stared for so long that at one point we walked away for like half an hour, came back, and he was still staring, same position, at the fucking hentai art. And we're like, my lord, dude. We need to get him later, send him to a counselor. Come with us, avert your gaze, young one. Come on, let's go. Over here, let's get you a bottle of wine.
He's
He
just like,
finally
but
comes
wait.
to it. His first words when he snatched back to consciousness. No, I swear I was gonna buy something. Dude, you were staring for 45 minutes. You forgot you were human. It's okay. We'll go back later on, but we have a panel to go to. And the panel we were going to was this. I forgot what it was called. I think they called themselves like Master Pancake or something. Essentially, it's they play a movie and then these guys just shit talk the movie for the entire time. It was the most annoying thing on the planet. And the movie that they were shitting on was Homeward Bound. I'm like, how fucking dare you? Talk shit about that's like one of the most wholesome movies of all time.
How do you talk shit about that movie?
It is so great. The animals are just trying to go home, you piece of shit. All right, we're going back to Artist Alley. You can go stare at more hentai now. Go buck wild. He went buck wild. He dropped about, and I'm not kidding, he dropped about $1,000 buying hentai art.
Oh god!
Holy shit!
Holy shit!
Whoa.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
you need
thinking I spent
to
too
go
much
get
money.
laid.
Yeah,
okay,
I thought I
he's
spent too
down
much
bad.
money. Not even on hentai. It was just an art piece of Heisenberg from Breaking Bad, but he was painted up to look like Aang from Avatar.
Oh, that's cool.
See, that's normal. That's pretty dope.
And it was
Yeah,
just called
that's
Breaking
pretty
Airbender.
dope.
I spent $75 on it, and I was just like, "Yeesh, I don't know if this is worth $75." I see him come out with an entire like portfolio binder that people would keep Pokemon cards in, and I was like, "What's in that?" He clutches it, and he looks down, and he goes, "I don't want to tell you." And I'm like, "Bruh, hand it over." Fuck. As soon as I open it, it's just some fucking anime chick with their ass cheeks spread, and I was like, "Yo!"
He went aggressive right out the gate.
My mind was reverting to like, okay, it's probably gonna be some sort of like tits or some shit like that. Nope, just spread ass cheeks. And I was like, how much of this binder is this bullshit? And he goes, "Would you judge me if I said all of it?" "Oh, dude, I judged you when you handed me the binder."
You looked into the eye of Sauron. You were officially judged.
Fuck's sake.
Oh
Chocolate
god,
starfish.
so bad.
It's stupid.
But again, that's ultimately that's a part of the convention experience, is because I know I say this a lot when it comes to us talking about a wide range of things, but when it comes to conventions, there's something there for everybody. Whether it be you want to go to QuakeCon, where it's basically the largest 3-day LAN party of all fucking time, or do you want to go to some of the biggest conventions in the world, like Anime Expo, like PAX East or PAX West, or you just have a local convention in your area? There's always something there for anybody that wants to experience a convention. I highly recommend anybody at least try a convention at least once. You don't have to cosplay. You don't have to do a hotel party. You don't even have to buy a 3-day pass. They have 1 or 2-day passes just for you to like get a feel and get experience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and that's all you
and-
need to do.
Like that's all you really need to do. It's just bite the bullet and do it. Because conventions are some of the funnest places I've had like the most fun in my adult life. It was actually because of Anime Boston that two of the guys that I played D&D with, I met them at my first Anime Boston. We are still friends to this day, like 10 years later.
I was actually going to ask. Don't want to put you on the spot, Brandon.
Yeah, what's up?
But you've heard some of our stories and some of the shit we've got into. I gotta peek inside of the lizard brain and see if like, is there anything you're wondering that, with the inclinations that you've gotten so far, is there anything that you're wondering that would happen, that does happen, that sounds too crazy, or I don't know.
Don't worry, there's a furry parade. You'll fit in.
I wasn't gonna say that. I promise you, I wasn't gonna say that. This wasn't a setup. He did that on his own. Look at me, audience. I did not set that up. I just wanted
Look
to
at me,
get
audience.
an
I
outsider
absolutely did.
perspective. I just wanted an outsider perspective because we've covered.
All right, so hit me with that question again because I got kind of sidetracked over there. By
You got hit by Truck Coon over there. After hearing all of our crazy stories and all the shit we've talked about, is there anything you're curious, like, does this actually happen, or is it an internet meme, or is this something that's like a negative connotation? Like, is there anything that you want to know about that you think might not actually exist, I guess is the best way to put it. Because it is a wide, crazy world.
That's the thing
out
is
there.
with my questions before any of this like podcast happened, were already answered. So I have no idea what kind of questions I would ask because a lot of things that I wondered you guys have already confirmed even before we did this. But and yes, even some of the bad ones, and that I was like, oh, so that's a thing. Cool. All right.
Even the bad ones. Even the bad ones. I was just curious.
I can't really say that I have any questions at all.
Okay, I was curious because not to put CHAPPA or DJ or anybody else who does cons on blast, it is a wild world, and there's a lot of crazy, like, that's not real, that's a Reddit story, or that's a 4chan story, and then you go and you're like, holy shit, that just happened.
Yeah, if anything, all this just makes me want to go to one even more. But, like, ain't none out where I live, that's for sure.
Yeah, seriously. That's what made it hard to get started.
True. Yeah, as much as it is true, the whole, like, don't believe anything you hear or read on the internet because it's 9 times out of 10 not true. That 1 times out of 10, it's because it happened at a con, and it's absolutely true.
Oh yeah,
some sort of con. It doesn't even have to be specifically what type of con. It's just it happens at cons. It could be any.
Yep.
That reminds me. Did I ever tell the story of how I met you specifically, CHAPPA?
I think in the last podcast we talked about it, but
I wasn't here for that. Say it again.
But you watched
damn
it.
I did watch.
This isn't the setup you think it is, because
you motherfucker.
No. Yeah, you'll see.
I mean, does it?
So it's funny.
Does it at least include him getting into bed with you and Fraser?
Yeah.
No, quite the opposite. It's him staying out of bed with somebody else, which is really funny.
Staying out of bed with somebody else.
Okay, see, he doesn't remember. I don't
remember.
Damn,
I was fucked up that night too.
Damn, the Kraken got to him.
Fucking Kraken.
Actually, yeah. So it was funny. What ended up happening is the first time we were gonna actually stay with you guys at a con. We had already met Julian. We'd done stuff, but we hadn't actually met the rest of the group yet. We show up to our double room side by side. Door's locked on the first one. Tristan tells us to go around to the other side. And we're like, alright, cool, whatever. Didn't ask, didn't care. We start making our introductions. It was because you guys were doing a photo shoot in that other room.
Oh!
Yeah, I'd known CHAPPA for about 8 seconds. They're doing a photo shoot in the other room that's classified. And we didn't ask. We don't give a shit. We start pouring drinks. We start hanging out. And we put on Super Troopers 2. And CHAPPA's immediately like, oh shit, these guys are my new best friends. Grabs a drink, drops in between us, and just starts sitting down. shooting the shit. Like, I think only Larson asked, how do we even know anybody and why we're sitting in the room? And once we're like, oh yeah, we're cool with Julian. He's like, well, hell yeah, brother, sit down. I'm like, okay. It was kind of big and scary, but sure. The photo shoot was a little, not PG-13. And they were trying to get CHAPPA to go back and mediate things, and he's like, no, we're watching Super Troopers 2. Come on, man, we need you. No, Super Troopers 2 is on, and he's like spilling drinks on me. So finally, Alex comes and politely asks, and he says no again. He wants to watch the movie. And she's like, babe, you're being really gay right now. I need you to not do this in front of the guests. And like a child, he slams his entire drink, slams the cup on the table, and pouts. And he's watching the TV the whole time he's walking away. This was my first introduction to CHAPPA ever. I'd never met this man before, and he was making the weirdest scenes I think I'd ever gotten from a first introduction ever. Well, second, but furries don't count. Dude,
Bro,
I love you to death, but that was so weird, and I'm just sitting there with my little Kraken and Coke, like, huh. So this is where we're sleeping for the next 3 days. That's good to know.
to be fair, okay, context of what happened from what I remember, because
From what I remember,
so we had the 2 rooms, right? So there was 2 rooms, and so we were like, oh, let's do a photo shoot, because recently, so Hentai Haven got shut down or whatever, right? Is what it was, and then Faku ended up buying it, right? So Faku.net bought Hentai Haven and basically saved it. So within the span of like 2 days, Alex and our other friend Athena cosplay as Faku-chan and Hentai Haven-chan, and they're doing the photo shoot in the next room.
Alright.
Okay.
So I'm in there with them because I was like, well, just come in the room, you'll be fine. And I'm like, all right, whatever. And by the way, the photographer was Julian and Tristan's other friend, who was kind of a little strange, but he was all right. Well, lo and behold, we're like, just the way he was like making the girls pose, like it was super specific.
Okay, so
and I was just like, this is a little. Yeah, like he knew what he wanted to get, and he knew the perfect angles. Julian was just like, well, just do this, and he wasn't really like whatever about it. Like, we had full lighting, we had like, you know, the cameras were there, we put the beds together, like we moved the whole room around, like just to get these shots. And so I'm sitting there like next to the bed, like making sure I'm not in the shot, right? Because I had nowhere else to sit, because Mikey was in the room, like he's seen how small the rooms are. Like you weren't in the room, but you saw how small the rooms were, right? So I really had nowhere to sit or stand, because I didn't want to like be in any shadow, like cause any excess shadows, cause any excess. So I was like basically sitting on the floor next to the bed. Well, they make them do this pose, and our friend Athena basically had her legs spread open, and I just got full view of what was going on. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm done, and I just left. So when I got in the room, that's when I saw them watching Super Troopers. I'm all, fuck yeah, let's watch this movie. And so I was like, I don't want to go back in there, because I really didn't want to like see any more shit that I needed to not see. So I'm just like, I'm cool, I'm done, I'm being a good person, I'm excluding myself from the situation of getting my ass in trouble. And then of course Alex is like, well, no, come back, we want you in there. And I'm like, god damn it. So
no, mommy, I don't want to go.
Like, I don't want to go.
And keep in mind, this is the first time we met him, and we didn't have the context of the other half of the story until just now. So we're like, man, this guy's really fucking clingy. Like, this is weird. Never met him before. Oh, dude, that was so funny. And then, like, to think the same night, you crawled into bed with us out of all of the 20 people in those 2 rooms. You just dropped right between me and Frazier.
Now just picture Mike.
So like
all of a
also,
sudden dead asleep. Dead asleep, and he
well,
just
what's
goes,
funny is that
"Hey."
I'm cuddled next to Mikey. Like if you look at the photo, like I'm more like next to Mikey than I am Frazier.
The first day we met these fuckers, and then taking embarrassing photos of us while we sleep.
Just all 3 of us spooning each other like in freaking without a paddle, like just
Exactly.
Like, so, big spoon, little spoon, big spoon, ladle.
Seriously.
But it's crazy because like during that whole time, right? Like that's the first time I ever experienced sleepwalking, because I never sleptwalked before in my life, and it scared the shit out of me. So like, because the next morning I woke up in bed, right? So like I went to bed to sleep, woke up in bed, and I just see my buddy next to me like in the crevice between the bed and the wall, just sleeping sideways, and I'm like, what the fuck? And then everybody's waking up. I'm getting ready. Alex is like kind of upset, and I'm like, "What happened? What did I do?" You know, I'm like, "I thought we all went to bed." And he's like, Elias is just like, "Well, you did this last night, bud." And I'm like, "What the fuck?"
Why did nobody tell me?
And then I feel bad because I'm like Mikey said, this is like the first time meeting. And I'm like, God, these guys must think I'm a fucking idiot. I'm just like, I left a bad impression in their mouth. I'm like, this is it. This is over. I thought we got along. Fuck.
Like, we bonded over Super Troopers, man. And now they think I'm weird.
Now they think I'm fucking weird, dude. I'm just like, God damn it.
But again, that's the one fun part about conventions is it's just like, you can't stay mad at anybody for too long, because if it happens at a convention, just know it was either an accident or it's all in good fun. Because there's a lot of mishaps and shit that happen at conventions, especially when I forgot what she was cosplaying, but let's just say, well, this cosplayer, she was doing a photo opportunity. She was doing a photo op like a bunch of people, and this happens a lot of conventions where if your cosplay catches people's eyes, they will just straight up want to take pictures of you. It's kind of the thing that people do. And at one point, this one dude was trying to take a couple photos of her. He wanted to. I don't know if this was for personal use or if he was actually going to put them on a website or something. But she had a wardrobe malfunction. Yeah, at one point, her entire shirt. Okay, I will just say this much: this woman was quite busty, if you will. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point, them buttons just said, "Fuck it, we're going on strike." Oh yeah, it's exactly what you're thinking. Everything just popped out. She wasn't even aware of it for the first, I want to say, 5 seconds after it happened. And then also when she sees a bunch of people going, and then everybody's taking out their cell phone, she finally looks down to analyze herself, and she's just like, luckily she was a champion. She goes, well, that sucks. And then she just walks on. Doesn't run, doesn't scream, just one good, well, that sucks. And then walks off. And I'm like, come back?
You were so down bad. Deej.
He's like, I'm gonna see those later.
Please.
Do they come with a business? Does each one come with a business card?
Do they each have their own nickname and area code?
You just pick up the button. You're just like, you're a really good agent. Let's just.
I wanted to return this to you. See, I'm a good person. You dropped this. Please have me.
Please have me.
All right. Hold on. I just noticed my headset is getting low. Lizard Wolf Lord. What's our timestamp?
Lizard Wolf Lord.
123.
123. All right. Then we have enough time to each of us give like one quick story, or should we wrap up now?
We got time.
All right. All right. So the one final story for me, and then we'll go down the line. So, Anime Boston. One of the things that I hate / love about Anime Boston is the fact that it is in basically the convention hall is in a ginormous mall. And one of the things that always happens, because they don't serve food in the convention hall besides your normal like nerd snacks. So again, Pocky, Ramune, which I was a huge Ramune drinker. I'm talking, I would like slam that bead down and I would start like chugging these things as fast as you could with a skinny neck. But you wanted to actually go get food. You had to leave the convention hall, make sure you had your badge with you, and you had to go to the actual food court, which was, it felt like it was 7 city blocks down in that direction, and every single person that's in every single popular shop is leaving their shop at that exact moment. Now, imagine a bunch of cosplayers, everybody's dressed up, wearing Attack on Titan. It was the most popular anime out at that fucking point. So everybody has like those boxes of the movement system. You're a wide load. You're in the fucking way. At one point, some jackass he decides to walk up and he knees one of the cosplayers' movement system boxes off, completely unhinges it and falls off the person's body. And I'm like, well, that's rude. I'm an officer of the law. I'm going to go do something about this.
Officer Nasty reporting for duty.
Trust me, every time I go to a convention, my first cosplay is always Jim Dangle. I have to assert dominance. What better way to do that than wear booty shorts, being my size? So I walk up to the dude. I was just like, "That's fucked up. You what the fuck?" I was like, "That's fucked up. You what the fuck you do that for?" He sees just like my fucking tan line starting at my thigh, going down. He goes, "Wasn't expecting that." No. All I did is I just pointed to the cosplayer and I was like, "Go apologize." No. He walks up and he's just like, "Hey, so I'm sorry." This girl slaps the piss out of him, like in front of everybody. She slapped the lips off his face.
Damn.
And granted, he takes like a champ, but he's shocked. Like he's standing there for like another 5 seconds trying to assess what just occurred. Then he gives that look of, yeah, I kind of deserve that. Now, as we're walking, everybody's just like, this is the problem. Anime promotes nothing but violence, violence, violence. And I'm like, anime promoting violence? Have you seen some of the anime that's out there? It's degenerate as shit. There's somebody behind me literally just wearing a string bikini. All because they're cosplaying somebody from DOA. The volleyball edition.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
But so we're walking up to the fucking food court, and then, lo and behold, I see him there, as I see him everywhere. There's Man Misty ordering Panda Buffet. Panda Express.
Hell yeah.
I see his big ass, and I was just like, the beacon of light. I see it. We all run up to Man Misty because this dude is like convention dad. We're all just like, Misty, Misty, Misty. He turns around and he goes, "Hi, kids." Starts giving everybody hugs, and everybody that's like not a part of the convention, they're all pulling out their cell phones like, the fuck is this? and they're ordering Panda Express. This is tied somewhere. So we all get our food and we all go outside because they had this this open eating area where we were just sitting on the lawn playing like some soft music, and we were just hanging out. And then some guy randomly comes up to me and he goes, "What's going on here? Why is everybody wearing costumes?" It's Anime Boston. What's that? Turn around. He sees the big banner that's like 200 feet high that says Anime Boston. Here are the dates, and here's the theme. And he goes, "So y'all do this like every time it happens? Do what? Like just come and hang out?" Yeah, that's basically what a convention is. A glorified hangout. Best way to describe it. He walks away, comes back. He not only bought a badge to go to the convention, he immediately went and bought himself a wig because he wanted to hang out.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Comes up and he shakes my hand. I was just like, that's sick. I respect that. I respect that. Still talk to him to this day. Don't really see him outside of conventions, but that's all it takes. As soon as you express any sort of interest in it, jump into it. All right, and then that's my final story. CHAPPA.
I guess I'll end my final story with a wholesome story, since we're going wholesome. This last SAC anime that just happened, which Mikey and Fraser didn't go. Oh, you guys went, huh? But you guys like left early, right?
No, I couldn't make it. I had an emergency at work, and I had to go put out literal fires.
Oh shit. So
Damn.
damn.
Long story.
This last convention that just happened in January, it's actually the first con they have back at the remodeled convention center. And so I was like, I'm going to take my kid. So my daughter she'll be 13 this year. And she's always been big in anime, grew up on Pokemon, Sailor Moon, but she really got into Fairy Tail. So, and she's watched Attack on Titan, Demon Slayer. She's all on it. So I was like, hey, like, do you want to come with me and, Alex to this convention? And I ended up calling my aunt because my little cousins who are around the same age as my daughter, they're also into anime. And I'm like, hey, like, there's this thing. It's like the day pass is this much. Do you guys want to go? And they're like, sure. So we went on like Sunday, which is the last day. And my daughter wanted to cosplay. So she cosplayed as Wendy because she had the costume for Halloween. And so she's cosplaying. My other little cousin's cosplaying Happy with her. Other little cousin's doing like some other one. I forgot who he was. And then Alex is cosplaying as Libra from Fairy Tail.
Mm-hmm.
So they're all walking around and everybody's stopping them to take pictures of my daughter. And I'm just like, this is awesome. And she's like walking around the convention hall with my little cousins, because at one point we lost them, and I'm just like, I lost my aunt. I'm like, where'd they go? They're like, oh, they have their phone. They're just doing their own thing. And I'm like, okay. I told my daughter, I'm like, don't tell your grandma I'll let you go by yourself. She's gonna lose her shit. But I knew they were gonna be fine, right? And so like we were just chilling. But I could just see how like excited she was getting over every little thing. Just like at the vendor hall, she was just like, "Oh my gosh, this is so cool! Like, Dad, look at this. Dad, look at that. Look, Dad, there's this character. Dad, look, there's that character. Dad, there's this." And I'm just like, "Well, why don't you go ask him to take a picture?" And so my daughter, who's like kind of shy but like super outgoing at the same time, goes up to all these cosplayers and just starts taking pictures with all of them. And then they're like, "Oh my God, you're so cute. Let me get a picture of you." And then they're just taking pictures of her. And it was just like, for me, it was just like that moment, like, hell yeah. Like, I raised that. This is awesome. And then I asked her, I'm like, did you have fun? She's like, yeah. I was like, I want to go again, Dad. And I'm like, all right. I'm like, yeah, we'll take you to these ones. We won't, and then we'll slowly work your way up. Like, the goal is to get her to go to, I want to take her to AX maybe when she's like 18. Maybe when she's a little bit older, but yeah, it's just a cool experience, and she was just loving it. And now she's like, "Dad, when's the next convention? Dad, when's this?" And I'm like, "Well, if you want to do it, let's do it." So
she got the bug. She got the con bug.
She got the con bug, and she's loving it. But I know that in the future it's going to be like, "All right, Miha, we're going to get drunk at the convention." Hell yeah, Dad. I'm just waiting to be like, to just take care of my daughter with her first hangover. She's like, I just hear, "Dad, my head hurts so much." Here you go, hair of the dog. I'm so proud of you. Here, just drink this whiskey. You're good.
In his head, that's how it's gonna work. In reality, he's gonna be like, "Honey, quiet down. My head is killing me."
Right?
Are you still good? How are you still okay?
She's like, "Dad, let's go. I'm ready for the con." I'm just like, 5 more minutes.
If you yell any louder, I will die. Please.
Daddy went on a little bit of a bender. Give me a minute.
Just a wee bit.
Again, part of the culture. Part of the culture. Gotta love it.
It's all fun, and I just love too. Like, the thing is about the culture too is just like how friendly people are, right? Like, because
Oh, yeah.
everybody's there for the same thing. I've yet to meet, like, even myself with my past experiences, I've yet to meet anybody that was like rude or an asshole or just like, super self-centered. Everybody's just super open and chill, and they'll, like you said, they'll start conversations with you over just anything. And
Like,
so it
literally
was nice
anything.
it was nice just to show my daughter that and for her to just be like, okay, like this is cool,
This is a safe place. It's a fun place, and I guess like I said, I wish there were more around because I'm kind of limited to just the two. Although I am tempted to go like buy tickets for AX next year because AX is absolutely on my bucket list.
Oh, God.
Do it. We'll all go. We'll get a room. We'll get sloshed.
That's a VOD that should never see the light of day right there.
Yeah. As it is, we already discussed getting a GoPro for fucking Aftershock.
I just stick it to DJ's forehead and just watch the chaos.
Because knowing me, I'm gonna find some shit.
Oh yeah.
All right, Mikey. Final story. Something wholesome, something chaotic, neutral, lawful good.
There's so much to dig through in the archives. I've been doing this since 2011, so picking a good closer. We'll do a interesting one. This one kills me, and it's not bad by any means. Since we're going off on like wholesome notes after we've been talking about all her shit for over an hour. We went to Reno Comic Con, and yeah, it's not an anime convention, but Reno's wild. They don't really follow the rules.
Yeah.
I mean that in every DJ gets it in every sense of the word. It's Comic Con, but when we get there, the nightlife starts at like 3:30 in the afternoon. Anime's running amok. Warhammer's running amok. Like everything is just conglomerated into this big nerd culture event, but it still has big budget stuff like Guardians of the Galaxy. A couple of the Avengers were there, and it was funny. It was cool. And at one point in time, my parents got bored doing the Reno thing, and they're like, "Oh yeah, blah blah blah. We're going to the convention center to see if we can get in." They didn't have tickets. They walk up to the staff, look them dead in the eye, and say, "Oh hey, our son forgot his inhaler. Can we run in and give it to him?" They're like, "Oh yeah, that's so sweet. Go for it." Neither one of us are asthmatic. They just walked in and just hung out in the fucking con all day, just checking out events, hanging out in the fucking area, taking pictures with people and shit. And then after a while, they're big into tattoo culture, and Area 51 Tattoo Studio is there. And they're pretty big in the pop culture scene. They do insane detailed work, next level custom stuff, and they even experimental inks and dyes. They're game for whatever. They specialize in pop culture, Star Wars. Guy, thank you. Sorry, my dog is pushing my chair out of the way and started talking. Like, hey, I'm awake. Anyways, so yeah, all of this and that. Out of all the random chants in the world at a like 50,000 person event, my parents got to meet them. They were hanging out with them, shooting the shit like they're old friends, taking pictures, exchanging war stories. And we actually got to walk by and say hi to them for a little bit. And it was super cool. They're very down to earth people. And I'm like, oh, maybe it's like one or two of the people. The whole crew knew my parents on a first name basis, and when we were asking questions during the panel, they pointed us out and they're like, "Yo, you're blank and blank's kids." And I'm like, "Are you fucking serious? How did you know that?" They're like, "Oh, your parents are sick." And then like we're having a full ass conversation mid panel. The panel ends. We go out and we go to like shake hands and go our separate ways. Bro, they're like hugging us. We got pictures with all of them. It was the weirdest shit, and it goes to show you that just going to a con, usually you should buy a ticket. I'm actually going to make that point. Go buy a ticket. But when you go to cons, anything can happen. It doesn't matter who you are, how old you are, what you're into. Just be open for the experience, because you can make friends with some people you'd never expect, make some serious memories, go on wild adventures. It is a really, like, I don't want to sound too cringy, but it is a really magical experience where a total crapshoot of what's going to happen this time. I think everyone should at least try it once. Like, you don't have to be a diehard, but try it. You'll see what happens. You might learn something about
You don't
yourself
have to
as
be
I
like
look
a-
at the furry.
Like, you don't have to be a hardcore weeb or an otaku or like, oh yeah, I don't watch an anime until I read the entire manga. Conventions are just fun to go to because it's fun, and that's at the end of the day all it needs to be. There's no requirement or prerequisite of like, oh, you had to watch this much anime or this many hours on Anime Planet.
Mm-hmm.
Just go. I've met people there that haven't watched anime a day in their life, and all they do is they'll just go to Artist Alley and they'll buy figurines because they like collecting figures.
Yep. There's no requirement for it. You just have fun. You cosplay as whatever character you want. I mean, anime conventions, just because it's stuck as an anime convention, doesn't mean you have to cosplay as an anime character. You can literally cosplay as anything, and people are going to just still recognize it, still be happy about it, and still, enjoy it. Like, hell, dude, freaking at AX, I saw on TikTok that there was a bunch of Pikmin running around. Like, just a group of guys dressed up as Pikmin just running around. And I'm just like, this is amazing. Like, and there was like one dude that had like the whistle and they would just like pop up. Like, you see stuff like that. Or like there's like another group that did like the Ugandan Knuckles. Like a bunch of guys cosplay as Ugandan Knuckles and ran around.
Yes.
Like,
Oh my god.
I still
like
love
there's
Ugandan
always
Knuckles
going to
till
be
this day.
something.
Seriously, what year is it?
Always going to be something. To see, it's nothing ever dies except 4chan. 4chan's dying this year. It makes me sad.
4chan's dying this year.
Yeah, they're shutting down the website.
I can't say I'm sad. I don't think that's a bad thing.
Nope.
I have no.
Makes me sad.
No, nothing. I'm okay.
The great battle is finally coming to an end of 4chan versus Reddit,
Now we just need to take down.
and Reddit is still toxic.
That really was.
Reddit's just gonna acquire it.
Well, now who do we fight? Let's revamp Tumblr. Let's go against Tumblr.
Twitter.
Oh god.
Twitter's turning into a cesspool of bullshit.
On my
Seriously.
browser, the Twitter is bookmarked, and all I titled it is shithole, and that's it. That's Twitter, just shithole.
The most accurate title ever.
If you follow my Twitter, little heads up for if you follow me, it's a hide your screen because there's some shit on my Twitter that you don't want anybody knowing that you know.
Oh yeah,
Brandon
Hell
sadly
yeah, brother.
follows me.
You and Dave, I swear. Fucking Christ, you too, man. Goddamn.
I am degenerate, and I live by that. But I think this is a good spot to call it. This was really fun. I know we could have gone on for like another 5 hours, but
Hell yeah.
don't. My headset's on its last leg as it is, so if I could, I would. But that just means we have to bring you back on and do this again because, like I said, there's 10 years worth of conventions sitting between the three of us, and I cannot wait for the day that Brandon can go to his first convention because I want to know all about it.
Oh hell yeah.
Oh, we're gonna be there. Group
Yeah.
trip. Let's go.
I was about to say,
Group trip.
hopefully the first time is going to be with all you guys. That'd be a crazy, memorable experience.
Just gotta
You're gonna
start
get
planning
so
it.
drunk you're not gonna remember.
Yeah, probably.
Ideally, you want your whole time to just be walking through a hall and just seeing everything pass by.
Yep.
Occasionally
No,
you'll
but
blink
so
and be
clo-
somewhere else.
Yeah. Okay,
I swear
you're
we
gonna
told the
wake up,
story.
blink.
What?
When you were telling that story, I was like, okay, either A, he was really faded, or B, he's that kid from the movie Jumper. Like, he just, like, leapt through time, and now he ended up somewhere else.
I felt like it, but between 3 people, we had a gallon of rum in like under an hour. Yeah.
Oh,
That's
perfect liver.
Perfect.
Oh, I did.
Did each gallon come with a bendy straw? Was there like a bendy straw in the gallon with a little hat, with like a little umbrella?
No,
Is it
it
the
was
straw
a
that's
giant
actually
carrying
very
it
glass
around.
thing at
holding the
Spencer's?
bottle with 2 fingers, and his tiny girlfriend pouring out these little red Solo cups for everybody. The funniest shit I've ever seen.
Oh, it's amazing.
All right, so then closing statements before we go. Closing statement from me. Like I said, if you've ever been hesitant or curious, hate to put it like this, but if you're curious about what goes on and you really want to know what happens, just go buy like a day pass. You don't have to cosplay if you don't want to, but just go and see for yourself. I guarantee you'll find something that you will enjoy there. So it's just get out there and go. CHAPPA?
Yeah, I agree with that. You know, I think that if you're at all curious, I mean, and check it out. You know, I live by the rule of I'll at least try everything once. And, you know, if it's not for you, I mean, at least you could say you tried it and you didn't like it. You know, don't be that person that's like, well, I'm not going to go because I've heard all these stories. It's like, well, wait, have you been? Like, how can you justify something if you never actually experienced it? And that, you know, and I think that's one of the main things is just do it. Just do it, have fun, let it ride. You know, take it as what it is, enjoy it. You know, if you look for the negatives in it, then you're not gonna have a good time. Just look for the positives and just try to have fun the best you can.
Absolutely. Brandon, any thoughts? Any thoughts or closing statements?
Other than that, I hope that
Woof.
I hope that I eventually go to a con and that it all goes well. Honestly, because yeah, I've never been to one, so I can't. I've hear stories, but never know what to really expect.
Yeah, you'll have a good time, especially if you go with us. All right, Mikey.
Yeah, coming from many years of experiencing a lot of people rise and fall, I come with 2 very important pieces of advice. The first is quite simple: keep an open mind. You're gonna see a lot of shit you might not be used to. It's okay. Put on your soldier's helmet, power through it, get to the end, and be ready to laugh at it. The second is drink fucking water. I'm tired of seeing grown-ass adults crying like children because they went 16 hours without drinking any water. You're a fucking adult. Take care of yourself. Even if you're not, drink water. It's a basic human necessity of life.
Yeah, true.
That's it. That's all I got.
Well, just to piggyback off of Mikey, step 3. Some of you cosplayers, you lost track of this when you walked through the convention doors. Wear fucking deodorant.
Oh yeah.
You stink.
Hell yeah.
Just because you're at a convention center doesn't mean you have to ignore hygiene. Nah, wash your ass and put on some deodorant. I'm looking at you, cosplayer that dressed up as Jesse from Team Rocket. You nasty.
Just call them out, why don't you?
I didn't say their name. And do you know how many Jesse cosplayers there are? A lot. And one of them stinks. I'm looking at you right now.
Anyway.
All right. With all that being said and with everything being told out now, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the NoSkill podcast. There's some buttons in the comment section down below. Do whatever the hell you want with them. And we will see you in the next one.